The late 15th century was a time of great change and exploration in Europe. Driven by a desire for new trade routes and exotic goods, European powers set their sights eastward. Overland routes were long, dangerous, and controlled by intermediaries who inflated prices. This led to a fervent search for a sea route to the east. Portugal, a small nation on the Iberian Peninsula, was at the forefront of this maritime exploration. Prince Henry the Navigator sponsored numerous voyages down the African coast. These expeditions were crucial in developing navigational techniques and expanding geographical knowledge. They pushed the boundaries of the known world, inching closer to the coveted riches of the East. The quest for a sea route to India was a complex undertaking fraught with challenges. In 1498, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese explorer, achieved what many had thought impossible. He successfully navigated around the Cape of Good Hope, opening a direct sea route to India. Da Gama's arrival in Calicut signaled the beginning of a long and complex relationship between Portugal and India. The Portuguese were not the first Europeans to reach India, but Da Gama's voyage was revolutionary. It established a direct sea route, bypassing the established trade networks controlled by Arab and Venetian merchants. This gave Portugal a significant advantage in accessing the lucrative spice trade. Following Vasco da Gama's groundbreaking voyage, the Portuguese crown quickly realized the strategic importance of establishing a permanent presence in India. Subsequent expeditions were dispatched, tasked with securing footholds and establishing trade relations. These early ventures were often met with resistance from local rulers. The Portuguese, however, were determined to assert their dominance. Their superior naval technology gave them a significant advantage in naval engagements. Goa, a small island off the western coast of India, emerged as a focal point for Portuguese ambitions. In 1510, Afonso de Albuquerque captured Goa from the Bijapur Sultanate. Goa would become the capital of the Portuguese Estado da Índia, the center of their vast Asian empire. Afonso de Albuquerque's leadership proved instrumental in shaping the Portuguese presence in India. He recognized the importance of controlling key choke points in the Indian Ocean trade network. Albuquerque implemented a policy of sea fortress warfare, capturing and fortifying key ports. Malacca, Hormuz, and Goa became cornerstones of this strategy. These fortified settlements allowed the Portuguese to control maritime traffic and establish dominance. The Portuguese Estado da Índia encompassed a vast network of trading posts, forts, and settlements stretching from East Africa to Southeast Asia. Goa served as the administrative center of this sprawling empire. The viceroy, appointed by the Portuguese crown, held supreme authority over all Portuguese possessions in Asia. Maintaining control over such a vast empire required a strong military presence. The Portuguese navy played a crucial role in protecting trade routes and defending Portuguese interests. The Battle of Diu, fought in 1509, stands as a pivotal moment in the history of Portuguese expansion in the Indian Ocean. This naval engagement pitted the Portuguese fleet against a combined force of Mamluks, Ottomans, Venetians, and the Zamorin of Calicut. The battle was a decisive victory for the Portuguese, solidifying their control over key maritime routes. It demonstrated the effectiveness of Portuguese naval tactics and their superior firepower. The victory at Diu had far-reaching consequences, cementing Portuguese control over key maritime routes. It established Portugal as the dominant naval power in the Indian Ocean. Following the Battle of Diu, the Portuguese embarked on a period of consolidation and expansion throughout the 16th century. They established fortified settlements along the coasts of Africa, India, and Southeast Asia. These strategically located outposts allowed them to control key maritime routes and exert influence over regional trade. The Portuguese crown actively encouraged exploration and expansion. This period witnessed the expansion of Portuguese influence into regions like Malacca, Hormuz, and Ceylon. Despite their successes, the Portuguese faced constant challenges from rival European powers and internal conflicts. The Portuguese Estado da Índia faced numerous challenges that gradually eroded its dominance. Internally, corruption and administrative inefficiencies hampered effective governance. The rise of other European powers, particularly the Dutch and the English, posed a significant challenge. These rivals actively sought to undermine Portuguese control over the spice trade. The changing political landscape in Asia also contributed to the decline of Portuguese power. The combination of internal weaknesses and external pressures gradually chipped away at Portuguese dominance. The 17th century marked a turning point in the fortunes of the Portuguese Estado da Índia. The Dutch, with their powerful East India Company, gradually wrestled control over key Portuguese possessions. The English also posed a growing threat, with the British East India Company asserting its influence in India. Internal corruption and administrative inefficiencies continued to plague the Estado da Índia. The Portuguese crown, facing financial difficulties at home, was unable to provide adequate support to its Asian empire. The decline of Portuguese power was gradual but irreversible. The Portuguese presence in India led to a complex interplay of cultures. The arrival of Portuguese traders, soldiers, and missionaries brought about a fusion of European and Indian traditions. The Portuguese introduced new goods, technologies, and ideas to India. Indian art, music, and literature also influenced Portuguese culture. Despite the cultural exchange, the relationship between the Portuguese and the local population remained complex. This cultural tension characterized the Portuguese presence in India. Section 2. The spread of Christianity, conversions, and conflicts. The Portuguese arrival in India coincided with a period of religious zeal in Europe. The desire to spread Christianity and counter the influence of Islam was a driving force behind Portuguese expansion. Missionaries accompanied the traders and soldiers, actively seeking to convert the local population. This religious agenda often clashed with existing religious traditions, leading to both conversions and conflicts. The Portuguese established missions and churches throughout their territories, actively promoting Christianity. They employed various methods to encourage conversions, ranging from persuasion and education to coercion and force. The conversion of local populations was seen as a key element in consolidating Portuguese control and establishing a loyal Christian community. The spread of Christianity met with varying degrees of resistance. Some individuals and communities embraced the new religion, while others fiercely defended their existing beliefs. The Portuguese often encountered opposition from Hindu and Muslim leaders who saw Christianity as a threat to their religious authority. This religious tension often led to conflicts and persecution. The Portuguese Inquisition, established in Goa in 1560, played a significant role in enforcing religious orthodoxy. This institution, notorious for its harsh methods, sought to root out heresy and punish those who deviated from Christian doctrine. The Inquisition's activities further exacerbated religious tensions and contributed to the persecution of non-Christians. Section 3. Architectural influences, a blend of styles. The Portuguese presence in India left a lasting mark on the architectural landscape. The Portuguese built churches, forts, and administrative buildings, introducing European architectural styles to India. These structures often blended European and Indian elements, creating a unique architectural fusion. This architectural legacy stands as a testament to the Portuguese presence and their influence on Indian art and architecture. The Portuguese introduced new building techniques and materials, such as the use of laterite stone and the construction of vaulted ceilings. They also incorporated elements of Indian architecture, such as intricate carvings and decorative motifs, into their buildings. This blending of styles resulted in the creation of distinctive architectural forms that reflected the cultural exchange between Portugal and India. Goa, the capital of the Portuguese Estado da Índia, became a showcase of Portuguese architecture. Grand churches such as the Basilica of Bom Jesus and the Sé Cathedral were built, reflecting the grandeur and power of the Portuguese Empire. These structures, with their ornate facades and imposing presence, stand as prominent examples of Portuguese architectural influence. The Portuguese also built forts and fortifications to protect their territories. These structures, often strategically located on hilltops or along the coast, played a crucial role in maintaining Portuguese control. These forts, with their massive walls and imposing ramparts, stand as reminders of the Portuguese military presence and their efforts to secure their dominion. Section 4. Linguistic legacy, the enduring mark of Portuguese. The Portuguese language, while not as widely spoken as English or other European languages, left a lasting impact on Indian languages, particularly in coastal regions. Portuguese words and phrases were adopted into local languages, enriching the linguistic landscape. This linguistic legacy serves as a reminder of the Portuguese presence and the cultural exchange that took place. Portuguese words related to trade, administration, and religion became integrated into Indian languages. Words like mesa, table, cadeira, chair, and janela, window, became part of everyday vocabulary. This linguistic borrowing reflects the close interaction between the Portuguese and the local population. The Portuguese language also influenced the development of Konkani, a language spoken in Goa and other coastal regions. Konkani, while retaining its Indian roots, incorporated numerous Portuguese words and grammatical structures. This linguistic fusion created a distinct dialect that reflects the cultural blending of the region. The Portuguese language also played a role in the development of Indo-Portuguese creoles, languages that emerged from the interaction between Portuguese and local languages. These creoles, spoken in various parts of India and Asia, represent a unique linguistic legacy of the Portuguese presence. They stand as a testament to the complex cultural exchange that took place during the Portuguese colonial era. The decline of Portuguese power in India was a protracted process spanning several centuries. It resembled a slow, gradual eclipse, marked by a steady erosion of influence and territorial control. Several factors contributed to this decline, including the rise of rival European powers, the changing political landscape in Asia, and internal weaknesses within the Portuguese Estado da Índia. These combined pressures gradually chipped away at Portuguese dominance. Despite their decline, the Portuguese left an indelible mark on India, especially in trade and commerce. Their maritime routes revolutionized global trade, opening new avenues for goods and ideas. The legacy is visible in spices, commodities, and architectural styles. They introduced new spices and commodities to India and Europe. Spices like pepper, cloves, and cinnamon became more available in Europe. New world crops like potatoes, tomatoes, and chili peppers became integral to Indian cuisine. They also facilitated the trade of precious stones and other valuable commodities. Diamonds and gems from India enriched European markets. Portuguese architecture left a lasting impact, especially in Goa. Their architectural style blends European and Indian elements. These buildings are a testament to Portuguese influence on Indian art and architecture. The Portuguese presence in India extended beyond mere trade and commerce, leaving a lasting impact on the cultural landscape of certain regions. Their influence can be seen in the adoption of Portuguese words into local languages, the spread of Christianity, and the fusion of culinary traditions. These cultural footprints, though sometimes subtle, serve as enduring reminders of the Portuguese presence and the complex interactions that shaped Indian society. The Portuguese language, while not as widely spoken as English, left a noticeable mark on Indian languages, particularly in coastal regions. Words related to trade, administration, and everyday life were adopted into local languages, enriching the linguistic tapestry of India. These linguistic borrowings provide a fascinating glimpse into the cultural exchange that took place during the Portuguese era. The Portuguese also played a significant role in the spread of Christianity in India, particularly in Goa. The establishment of missions and churches led to the conversion of a substantial portion of the population, and Christianity remains a prominent religion in the region. The legacy of Portuguese missionary activity can be seen in the numerous churches and cathedrals that dot the Goan landscape, showcasing a blend of European and Indian architectural styles. The Portuguese also influenced Indian cuisine, particularly in Goa. The introduction of New World ingredients like chili peppers, tomatoes, and potatoes led to the development of unique Goan dishes that blend Portuguese and Indian flavors. This culinary fusion reflects the complex cultural exchange that took place, creating a distinct culinary tradition that remains popular to this day. The Portuguese presence in India is a complex tapestry of trade, conquest, and cultural exchange. Their influence resonates in language, religion, cuisine, and architecture, a reminder of global interconnectedness and colonial legacies. Marking a turning point in global history and European expansion, their maritime routes revolutionized trade and paved the way for European presence, a crucial chapter in global exploration and colonization, marked by conflict and cultural exchange. Blending traditions created unique cultural expressions. Hybrid forms testify to complex interactions, a nuanced account of ambition, cultural encounter, and enduring legacies.